In this video, I will show how I create my statistical application during the statistics course. First of all, we needed to understand a little bit the user interface. So here we needed to drop the CSV file that we wanted to analyze, and the second step is here. We need to click this button for read the CSV file and understand the most suitable data type for each field. And here we have the setting to create the scatter plot and the contingency, and here is the section related to the change of the data type of a specific field. So let's see in details how this works, and also we will see later how I create the scatter plot and the contingency table. So let's pick a random file CSV. For example, don't know, this one, and let's read the CSV. We need to say if the CSV file contains or not contains the header. In this case, contains. So let's select header and then click on read CSV file. Okay, so here we have the tree structure that basically tells us the most suitable data type for each field of the CSV file. So as we can see here, car name is a string, which is correct. On the mean price, it's a double. Yes, and for example, I don't know if we go a little bit, maybe, yeah, let's check the capacity. And if we check the capacity, should be a double. In fact, so if we check all the field has been choose the most suitable data type. If you want to change a type of a specific field, we need only to insert here the number of the field that we want to change, so the number of the column. And in this case, for example, let's try with mean price. So we start from 0. In fact, here we have the enumeration, and we want to choose the field 2. So we select this one, and we try to change into an integer, which is fine. In fact, the change is finished correctly. If we want to change, for example, into a string, we can. And if we want to, maybe I make some mistake, so let's go back to the double, and in fact, we change the data type. For example, let's try to change the first column into, I don't know, an integer, and of course I can't. On a double, same thing, boolean and date time. That's why, because a string cannot be an integer or double or boolean or a date time. More specific, yes, it can be a boolean, but needs to be on the structure of a boolean, so true or false. And of course, it can be an integer or double, but we need to have a string value which is convertible in a double or an integer value. And of course, if we wanted to convert into a date time, we needed to have the proper type of string to do that. And same thing to the other type of values. So just for let you see, we have the import button that I think is better to see at the end. But let's start with the creation of the scatter plot and the contingency table. So first of all, we need to select two columns that are that have inside data values, double values or integer values. So for example, let's choose these two. So the 2 and the third. And let's select if we want the absolute or the relative frequency. let's try first the relative. After clicking the button, go to the scatter plot and then contingency tab. So let's go here on the scatter plot and contingency table tab, and as we can see, here we have the scatter plot and the contingency table. On the scatter plot, we have the quartiles, the regression line, and here we have the contingency table that represent the contingency of the values that we choose. In fact, the contingency and of course also the scatter plot is referred to these two columns. And if you wanted to change into absolute frequency, we can, of course. So let's go over here and select absolute and then click again. Let's go to check, and in fact, if we make, for example, here the count is 93, which is right. Here we have the representation of the scatter plot, and the distribution now is absolute. So let's see the last functionality that we have inside this program, which is the import button. So let's try just to check if the import button works properly to modify a field of the dataset. So for example, I don't know, this card name, let's change in statistics, and I don't know, the type we can maybe change to small into bigger, or maybe like large 1 to 3. It's just to check better if we modify it. And the last field that we can modify is this one, and we can put I don't know, 0.8. Okay, so now that we change the value inside the CSV file, let's go to the import and let's see if the import works. So let's go in our first application. Let's go in insert here, and in fact, as we can see, we have the CSV file that is modified, and let's check if it works. In fact, as we can see, I try to zoom a little bit to see better. Okay, we have statistics, large 1 to 3 that we put, and 72.8, which is exactly the three values that we change. And this and the video of the first program that I made. And I hope that I cover all the aspects. Let me check. Yes, perfect.